is entitled projected income differential, United States versus the world average. So here we're comparing the United States against the world average. We could compare California, but that would be more devastating than comparing the United States with the world average. I compare the United States to the world average, because if we compare California against the world average, then it gets sick. It gets worse. Okay. So this is for college graduates, projected income differential. Okay. And we're comparing the average college graduate in the United States against the world average per capita GDP. So it's not really apples, we're kind of comparing apples and oranges, but that's okay. Because I'm assuming you're going to finish college. And the average world GDP, I think, is a good benchmark, a good measure, right, to compare what the average college graduate, how the average college graduate in the United States might do against the world average. Okay. Although probably people, well, we're not going to account for taxes, the world average. So this might be, maybe the average college graduate in the world is making $11,000 a year. Probably after taxes, let's say. Probably so. Okay, so here we have yourself in the United States, yourself in another place, your spouse, a couple, and the couple world average. I have monthly, annually, 40 years, and then the differential. Please explain what your monthly, annual, and lifetime earnings differential might be when you compare the two states or countries that you choose. So I want you to choose some country. I chose the world average, okay, but choose another country. You could choose Vietnam, Turkey, Brazil, China, South Korea, Japan, whatever you want. Something that's of interest that would be helpful for you, okay? In my case, if I had to choose another locale, I would probably choose Spain and Mexico to compare. Compare the United States. Actually, I would compare California in my case, because I grew up in California. I would compare California against Spain. I would compare California against Mexico and see what the results are. I already did that. That's why I'm still here. I'm still in California. I did this many years ago. Okay. And California looked much more favorable than, certainly much more favorable than Mexico, but also more favorable than Spain. Okay. And so we looked at, this is before taxes. Okay. We know that the monthly income for a college graduate in the United States before taxes is about $4,000 a month, and in another country, in the world average, it's about $917 a month. Okay, and then annually, it's about $50,000 a year in the United States for a average college graduate, and we're assuming like $11,000 average on world scale. And the kicker comes here. Okay, the kicker is that after 40 years, because at least initially people think, well, $4,000 a month, but I'm making $1,000 a month, so that's not a big deal. You're making $4,000 a month in the United States, but I'm making $1,000. This is for real, because I've tried to recruit students in other countries that are making like $1,000 a month, and they think they're doing great. And I tell them, yeah, but in California, people in the United States, people making $4,000 a month. They say, well, it's not a big deal, 4,000 versus 1,000 is not that big of a deal, which it is actually, but they don't think it is. Okay, and on an annual basis, it's 50,000 against 11,000. That's a big deal. That's a big deal. Even they, I think, can see that. Maybe I'm not sure. Okay, but the real kicker is that after 40 years, that's when the kicker comes in. After 40 years, the average college graduate in the United States will have produced about $2 million in income, okay, before taxes. And the average person on the planet will have produced maybe $500,000. So the differential between the United States and the world average is about $1.5 million after 40 years. Okay, so my question to you is, if you had an extra $1.5 million, what would you do with that, right? Well, you'd be vacationing in Cancun and Dubai, in the Bahamas, right? Like that. You'd be staying at 5-star hotels, right? Things like that. Okay, so from my experience as a recruiter, people can't see this. They can't see this. I show them the numbers, I explain to them, I give them all the data. They don't see it. They don't understand for some reason. Okay, I think it has to do with the values, but anyway. Okay, but let's assume you have a spouse who is also a college graduate. Let's say he or she is also an average performer. So the average college graduate couple in the United States is making about $8,000 a month. And the average couple in the world is making about $2,000 a month. Okay. And again, they won't see, they can't see that. They say, well, it's not really a big deal. You know, 8,000 versus 2,000 is not a big deal. Okay, but on an annual basis, the average college graduate couple in the United States is making about $100,000 a year before taxes. And the average couple in the world is making about $22,000 a year. So from my experience recruiting, they think that's great. They like it. We're making $22,000 a year. We're doing great. But when you compare it against the United States, it pales, right? From my point of view, it pales dramatically. But again, the kicker is that after 40 years, right, that's when you see the results. That's when you really see the results. I mean, I see them now. You know, I see it with people who have done a lot better than I and people who have done a lot worse than I, right? After 4 years, you realize, oh my God, this is real. This is for real, right? So after 40 years, the average American couple, college graduate couple, will have made around $4 million before taxes. And the average couple in the world will have made less than $1 million. Okay, and then the differential between the average American college graduated couple and the average couple in the world is about $3 million, a $3 million differential. So my question to you is, if you're one of these couples, let's say you finish your college education, your spouse does also, and you have $3 million more than the average couple in the world, what would you do with the $3 million? A lot of things, right? Buy a nice house, nice cars, send your kids to nice schools, take these wonderful vacations, right? Stuff like that. So, okay, so it says, please complete this comparison for yourself and for you as a couple. What is your view of this? What is your view of this? Okay, what do you think? Maybe you feel like a lot of people, I don't care. I don't care about the money. I'd rather stay in my country and with my family and my friends and my culture and my diet and blah, blah, blah. Okay, go for it, you know. But this is the most likely outcome. This is the most likely outcome. And the reason I can say that is because if you go to these, again, I have a master's in Latin American studies. My specialty is Mexico. And I've traveled all over the United States and all over Mexico and all over Japan and Europe. I haven't finished Europe yet, though. And you go to these, I think, world famous tourist destinations: Cancun, Acapulco, Mazatlán, Puerto Vallarta, Los Cabos, Manzanillo, in Mexico. You're going to find a very interesting dichotomy. Because you go to these world famous destinations like Acapulco or Cancun or any of the above, okay? And you're gonna see a dichotomy that there are like actually two cities in these world famous resorts in Mexico. One part, like especially like Iztapas y Guatanejo, okay? Because Iztapas y Guatanejo is like two little towns put together. It's a world-class resort with 5-star hotels and 4-star hotels. Okay, but it's actually two cities. And in one city, you know, because it's called Iztapas y Guatanejo. In one city, I don't remember which one, you find these 5-star hotels, 4-star hotels, and luxury cars, and world-class living, right? Just grand living, right? And who do you find there? Well, you find Americans, Canadians, Europeans, and rich Mexicans, and rich Latin Americans in that part of the city, right? And then there's the other side of the city. Again, the city is called Iztapas y Guatanejo, right? Two little towns put together. And the other part of the city, where you find low-income houses, streets that are not very attractive, not very many green areas, right? In the rich parts, you have tons of trees and green areas and golf courses and beauty, right? This part, the other side of East Apasin, Huatanejo, there aren't any golf courses, a few little trees, a few little bushes, very low income. Who do you find there? Well, they're mostly the local people. The local people. That's where they live, and they're the ones who work in the other part of the city, in the other town where you have the 5-star hotels and 4-star hotels and the golf courses and fine cuisine and French restaurants and all that, right? So that's the result. That's the outcome or the consequence. Okay, so think about it. Think about it. Some people say, well, I don't care. Okay, I'm poor, but I'm happy and I'm with my family. I don't care. It's up to you. It's your call. Okay, let's go next slide.